Hello and welcome to this program, Approach to Anthropology. I'm Dr. Sudhir Kumar, and today we are going to talk about political organization. See, this is a very important topic, and in that topic, in that unit, you can say, we have many subtopics, right? Where we know about that whether this political organization is universal or it is just found in our society. See, there has been a discussion and debate on this issue that whether political organization, right, where we, the organization that we have, where we have bureaucracy, we have legislature, we have you can say this judiciary, everything, is that some sort of organization is found in other societies, you can say simple societies or not. So many scholars like Evans Pritchard and Mayer Fortis, Evans Pritchard and Mayer Fortis, they conducted research on African political systems, and they concluded that political systems, or you can say some sort of political organization, is universal. It was agreed upon by other scholars like Lucy Mayer, right, David Eaton and others. They agree with that political organization is universal, and there is some functions which are fulfilled by all these you can say organizations and all societies. So what are those functions? Maintenance of internal order and you can say external peace. Internal order within the society and external peace, it is ensured by all types of societies, right? The nature of social organization and political organization may differ. In our society, we have separate organs of state, right? You can say there is separation of powers among the three organs of the states, right? That is your legislature, executive and judiciary. These are distinct spheres of power. But in simple societies, even the social organization is not distinct from the political organization, right? Social organization means that we are talking about the society and the arrangement of the people, or you can say the various kinds of social activities that take place in that particular society. So here the kinship is, you can say, a form of political organization in simple societies. So in simple societies, the kinship and power are, you can say, related. They are embedded into each other. Okay. In the same topic, political organization, we have to learn that what is political organization, its universality, whether it is universal or not. We are going to talk about its functions. We are going to talk about the relationship between kinship and power. We need to know in this same unit about the various types of political organizations. We need to understand the evolution of state, or you can say political organization. We need to understand the notion of power, authority and legitimacy. We need to understand what is law and whether law is universal or not. Right? According to Radcliffe Brown and Malinowski, law is universal. Even the simple societies have laws. Right? According to Brown talks about the positive spirit of law, whereas Malinowski talks about the negative spirit of law. Right? In the same unit, we need to understand the social control mechanisms in simple societies. In simple societies, right? Violent as well as non-violent means we have discussed, right? We also have to understand the nature of law and justice in simple societies. Nature of law and justice in simple societies. So this unit is not as simple as the people perceive, right? Normally the student read this portion and leave the other aspects as unimportant. Now I want to bring your attention to a very important question that was asked in last year's 2020 paper, right, which connects economic organization with political organization. Right? Economic organization is rooted, you can say, or embedded into political organization. That you have to understand, because that question was combining the understanding of both of these. Yesterday I have discussed about economic organization. Today this topic I intend to discuss, but I thought that last year's question that was on conspicuous consumption, many of the students cannot write because they do not understand what is it and what examples they can put in. So in that regard, I told you that primitive social organization, simple societies social organization is an integrated whole, right, where the social organization is rooted into economic organization, and in that too religion as well as political organization is rooted, right? You can understand that political organization, kinship is political organization, right? Various set of kins perform various types of functions, right? So what was the question? So the question was that how is the construct of power, how is the construct of power linked to the notion of conspicuous consumption, notion of conspicuous consumption and its impact on distribution and its impact on distributive justice. On distributive justice. This was the question, right? Now you have to understand that in this question there is this construct of power, that what is power, right? Who have power in a society, right? That is the construct of power. Who is powerful? Whether politicians are powerful or businessmen are powerful, religious leaders are powerful, right? That construct of power, who is powerful in one particular society, you can say, it is linked to the notion of conspicuous consumption. What is conspicuous consumption? It is consumption, you can say, or you can say it is showy display of wealth. It is display of wealth for social prestige. It is display of wealth for social prestige. This definition is given by Haviland. Haviland. It's a very good book. You can read, right? Display of wealth for social prestige. So he defined that. Now, in simple words, if you want to understand, शादी पे बहुत ज़्यादा खर्चा, जिसने ज़्यादा खर्चा किया वो उतना ही पैसे वाला, उतना ही स्टेटस वाला, right? That is what conspicuous consumption is in your word simply. कम खर्चा करता है, that means अरे नहीं, इतना वो नहीं है. But someone spends too much, their status rises. Someone own a big car, that is conspicuous consumption, right? Because काम तो नैनो से भी चल जाता, right? Simple छोटी कार से भी चल जाता, but big car, that is, you can say, दिखावे के लिए खर्चा, showy expenditure, right? Display of wealth for social prestige, that is conspicuous consumption, right? Owning big cars, expenditure on marriage, that is for you, right? But in simple societies you have to understand. Now I believe that you might have understood that in which direction I am taking you, right? This conspicuous consumption, you might have observed, you might have seen or thought about it, right? That there are certain societies where people destroy wealth in order to show their social status. You might have seen or might have read about that institution of potlatch, found among some Canadian and American tribes, right, like Kwakiutl and others. In that, what is being done? There is distribution of wealth, gift giving, right? Lavish gifts are being distributed. Distribution of gifts, you can say, lavish gifts. Okay, burning of wealth, even throwing the wealth into the ocean, right? Throwing wealth into the ocean, burning the wealth, and distribution of gifts to the common man. So don't you think it is this distribution, it is for the social prestige? Whosoever distribute more wealth, whosoever will destroy more wealth is the most powerful man in that society, isn't it? The more wealth you destroy, the more powerful you are. So that is how you can say. Similar is a system, which is MOCA system of Papua New Guinea. This system was studied by Marshall Sahlins. Right? It is a kind of incremental gift giving, right? Incremental gift giving. That you give more and more gifts than you receive, right? Who give maximum amount of gifts, more lavish gift, right, that has higher status in that society, right? Who will be big man, right? In that there is big man system, right? So who will be big man? Who will give highest amount of gift, right? जो सबसे ज़्यादा गिफ्ट देगा वही big man होगा, according to Marshall Sahlins, in this MOCA system of Papua New Guinea. So don't you see, here is also the display of wealth is there, right? You can say expenditure on non-utilitarian goods. That is, you can say, public display of wealth, right? And it is associated with the status, or you can say power. It is associated with the notion of power. You can even simply take the example of Kula system also, right? In Kula system, there is Solava and Mawali, right? This is red shell necklace and this is white shell bracelet, right? And it ties people in a kind of social network across the islands on the Trobriands, right? Basically, whosoever have more Solava or more Mawali, they have higher prestige, right? And this ceremony with which this Solava and Mawali is received, it is associated with feasting. Large feasts are organized, right? So don't you see, here is also the display of wealth. You can say, although these are non-material things, but there is display of wealth through the feasts which are organized. Those who have more Solava, or you can say red shell necklace or bracelets, they have higher status in the society, right? So these are three examples. Just come back to your original question, right? That how is the construct of power linked to the notion of conspicuous consumption and its impact on distributive justice? Now let us come to this part of the question, distributive justice. What is distributive justice? That the wealth is not limited to few people, right? It is distributed. Now let us rethink on the same justifications that we have given in potlatch. Don't you think that this distribution of gifts is a mechanism of redistribution of wealth, right? In this, commoner can get more and more wealth, right? Their survival is ensured. So you can say that the chief redistribute his wealth through potlatches, right? So these mechanisms of conspicuous consumption is related to distribution of wealth, or you can say it ensures distributive justice. Even in this system, the incremental gift giving, even in this big men or big women, they distribute their wealth and thereby ensures distributive justice. Here too, during these feasts and gift giving, there is distribution of wealth. So this is also true. Even if you apply these, this notion of conspicuous consumption on the modern society, let us think about the perspective of modern society. In our society, see, conspicuous consumption is, you can say, heavy expenditure on marriage. Heavy expenditure on marriage. So what happens if there is heavy expenditure on marriage? What happens? See, during the marriage, it provides employment to people. right? So it ensures distributive justice. Yes, naturally the heavy expenditure it is associated with prestige and power, you can say, right? And on the other hand, it is also related to this distributive justice, employment to many people, right? Even this consumption, or during that consumption, taxes are paid to the government, right? And these taxes many times on the marriage goods or such, you can say luxurious goods, the taxes are also high. So this also ensures distributive justice, isn't it? Even if you want to buy a luxury car, that is also a kind of conspicuous consumption, and buying a luxury car also entails huge amount of taxes, right? Even the manufacturer of that car, they have to provide employment to many people. That employment is a kind of distribution, isn't it? And the expenditure is for the purpose of prestige and power, right? So what you can say that conspicuous consumption, it sits at the fulcrum, of distributive justice, and you can say the construct of power or notion of power, right? This diagram you can draw to show this relationship, and you can give 2-3 examples, at least 2 examples you can write here itself. Mocha system of Papua New Guinea and potlatch of the Canada and America, right? So this is what you have to show through this diagram, or you can say that how figure showing the relationship between the conspicuous consumption, the notion of power, and distributive justice, right? This graphic is, you can say, a representation, or you can say condensed, the entire answer is condensed in this diagram, right? We are limiting ourselves in this diagram to our simple societies, right? The coacoital of Canada, and you can say this Mocha system of the islanders of Papua New Guinea, right? Now, how will you structure this answer? Introduction. You can define conspicuous consumption. So write the definition. Conspicuous consumption, right? Write the definition of power also, you can say. The definition given by Weber you can write, right? Then you can write that how conspicuous consumption, even if you want to write, you can write the definition of distributive justice also, right? Then relationship between conspicuous consumption, construct of power, and redistribute, or you can say distributive justice. This heading you can give the relations between the three, and in that relationship you just make this diagram, right? And after that you can just write it, okay? Write that how it is related, the way I have explained, and give, you can 2 examples, or you can say 2 case studies you can use. One is that of, or you can use the 3, that depends how much space you have, but I recommend potlatch and Mocha must be written, right? If you have further space, right, and I would recommend that at least you can say conspicuous consumption in modern society also, because examples of conspicuous consumption in modern society. Also you can give the example of marriage expenditures as well as expenditures on you can say luxury cars and others. Then finally, what is the significance of this understanding? With this significance you can end your answer. You can just conclude with significance. So you can say the conclusion with the significance, that how it helped you. See, it helped you to understand the people's behavior, right? How people's behavior is helping us to understand, or you can say through these mechanisms, through such kind of consumption, you can understand the notion of power as well as distribution of justice, right? So basically, such mechanisms from the simple societies even give us insight to look at the modern society and its consumption behavior, right? Which is even used by the marketing companies. See, what I always say, that whatever you have written, try to show its relevance, contemporary relevance. What is the relevance today? So that you should show that significance, that after studying this, after knowing this, what can be the use? So you can understand the market behavior, people's behavior in the present society, right? By understanding or by looking back into the simple societies, right? It is used by the marketing companies, it is used by the organizations, right? When they brand their products. So that is how you can say the simple. Even you can show another significance, that it also gives us an insight about the social organization, political organization or economic organization, that how the three are rooted into one another or embedded into one another. That is what it shows us. So this is all for today, right? And we will meet again tomorrow with a new topic. Thank you. All the best.